How long is your trip this time? How many days? 10 days. And you plan to go to different temples? How many temples have you gone so far?
Just now we went to Ajahn.
Ajahn Tan.
Tomorrow we are going to Ajahn.
Ajahn what? Chandi in Udon Thani.
No, here in Chonburi.
Chonburi. No. That we are going to Ajahn.
Ajahn Wat Yannasangwararam.
After Ajahn, we are going to Ajahn Vimok.
Ajahn Vimok in Chanthaburi or in Rayong. Rayong. This is your first day, second day in Thailand, or
second day.
Second day, third day. And beside these temples, are there any other temples you're going to?
Yeah. Tomorrow. Ajahn tomorrow.
I know, beside Ajahn Vimok, Ajahn Anand.
Oh, no more.
No more.
After that, we just look around Bangkok.
Sightseeing, holiday. Okay. Have you been here before?
No.
First time? You've been here before. Have you seen my talks in YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
Following your talks, your Facebook, and then the group, there's a group. Every day send out your talks and all that.
Okay. The talk today will be recorded. It is on live now. We have people watching from all over the world.อยากจะถวายของครับ Could you make a little way for people to come in? ใครต้องการถวายข้าวของก็ยังเข้ามาได้อยู่ตั้งไว้ตรงนี้ไม่ต้องถ้าเป็นของกินวางไว้ได้
วันนี้วันเกิดครับ
ขอให้มีอายุมั่นขวัญยืนมันมีสีสุขหยิบไปถ้าต้องการหนังสือซีดีก็หยิบไปได้ You have anything in particular you want me to talk about?
Ajahn, we are from Malaysia and we want to thank Ajahn very much for Ajah's teaching. We have read most of Ajah's book through Brother Fong from the Wave publication. So we also listen to Ajah's talks on YouTube and so forth. So we are very grateful to Ajahn. So I'll start off with a question. Ajahn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ajahn, when we practice Vipassana, right? We just practice being aware, moment to moment, whatever is arising. So my question to Ajahn is that practice, being aware, moment to moment, good enough? And does wisdom arise naturally when awareness is continuous and strong after having some steadiness of mind, but not necessarily jhana, right?
Okay. Well, give me the first question first.
Yes.
The first question.
The first question is practicing
Awareness.
being aware moment to moment good enough?
What do you mean by being aware moment to moment?
Means just abiding in awareness. Like for example, if I'm sitting, I'm aware that I'm sitting, touching, aware I'm touching, or feeling the body sensations, just being aware. That means there's no contemplation, Ajahn.
Okay, we call mindfulness, being mindful of your body activity. If you can concentrate on your mindfulness without thinking about other things, then it is useful, because the goal is to stop you from thinking about other things. Your mind doesn't like to stay here. Your mind likes to go everywhere else. You're here now, but you probably think about Malaysia now, or think about what you're gonna do tomorrow. This is what we want to stop. We don't want the mind to think, because when the mind thinks, it can create all kinds of emotion and all kinds of desire that will make your mind restless, agitated, and not happy. So the goal of being mindful of something is to prevent your mind from thinking about other things. So you have to know this first, because sometimes you don't know what you're being mindful for. You don't know why do I have to watch what I'm doing, what I am saying. You know, the goal is to stop your mind from going away to think about other things. Basically, you want to stop thinking. You just want to be observing instead, watching what you're doing. If you can do this, then when you sit to meditate, you can watch your breath. And then you can then become concentrated. Your mind will become concentrated and become one and fall into the samadhi, the whole of the samadhi. Usually when you enter into samadhi, it's like dropping into a well. The mind will whoop, and then you feel peaceful and happy. So that's the goal of being mindful, to prevent your mind from thinking. Because if you want the mind to become peaceful and become happy, you need to stop thinking. Yeah. So, but you cannot just be mindful just when you sit only, because you won't have enough strength of mindfulness to pull your mind inside. Because your mind is being driven by your thought, your desire to think about places and people, and then to go after those people and places. So you want to stop your mind from thinking these thoughts. And then when you're not thinking, then your mind can settle. It can become peaceful and still. So you have to do mindfulness all the time, from the time you get up in the morning. When you first open up your eyes, you have to watch your body. Which position is the body now? It's lying down, okay. Now it's getting up, now it's standing, now it's walking, now it's going to the bathroom, to wash the face, to take a shower, or whatever. Just keep being mindful of that activity only. Don't think about whatever you want to think about. If you really have to think, then you should just stop doing anything and then be mindful of your thoughts and think only of the thing that you really have to think. Like, okay, what is today? What I have to do today? This sort of thing. You can think if you have to. But once you finish thinking, then you should stop thinking. Don't worry about what might happen today, wishing you can go back to yesterday, all this aimless kind of thinking. You want to stop. You don't want to let the mind think. Yeah. So if you have to think, then be mindful of what you think, and think until you finish thinking. Then you stop. Then you come back and be mindful with your activity, your physical activity. Until you have nothing else to do, then you sit down and then meditate. Then when you sit down, then you watch your breath, because your body is not moving anymore. So there's nothing to watch the body with, but only the breath. So then you focus on the breath at the tip of your nose, where the point of contact, where the air contact the body at the tip of the nose. Just stay focused at that point. Don't move it. Don't follow the breath in or don't follow the breath out. Only beware what kind of breath you are having, whether it's a long breath or a short breath, whether it's subtle or whether it is not subtle. Just beware. Don't control the breath. Don't manage the breath. Just use the breath as the point of focus. If you can do this without thinking about anything, then your mind will eventually drop into samadhi, drop into jhana. When you drop into jhana, then everything stops. The mind doesn't do anything anymore. It becomes still, but happy, peaceful, and have neutrality. We call equanimity. No love, no hate, no fear, no delusion. Whatever happens to the body, it would not bother the mind. If you felt painful here and there, the mind will not be disturbed by the thing of the body. So this is what you want, to get the mind to this point, where then you can use it later on to face all kinds of problems. See, right now you cannot remain cool and calm and stable and steady. When you run into problem, you start to react and you start to get upset. But if you have this kind of mind from samadhi, you can remain still and tackle your problem rationally. Then you have to develop, the next step is what we call developing vipassana. You have to look at the things that you become involved with, look at their true nature. And the true nature of everything that the mind comes into involvement with, they have the three characteristics. They are temporary, impermanent. They are something that sometimes you can manage, sometimes you cannot manage. Sometimes you can control them, sometimes you cannot control them. If you want to control them, if you want them to be permanent, you will run into dukkha, because you will not get what you want. So the goal here is not to let your mind have any desire for the things that you come into involvement with. You should not expect them to be permanent. You should not expect them to be under your management or your control. You must be ready to let it go anytime. Like people you meet, sometimes they're nice to you, then you want them to always be nice to you. But one day they turn bad, they don't want to be nice to you. If you still want them to be nice to you, you will have bad feelings. But if you know ahead of time that this is the way things will be, everything is like this, everything can change from good to bad, from bad to good. You cannot control them, you cannot change them. Only thing you can do is to be ready for them. This is what we call vipassana. To look at everything that you have to become involved with, that you cannot expect them to always be good for you. They can turn to be bad for you. But you can still be able to remain undisturbed by them. If you have samadhi supporting your wisdom, you need the two to be able to withstand all the problems that you will have to encounter in your life. So this is the way we practice. First, you develop mindfulness so that you can then have samadhi. Once you have samadhi, when you come out of samadhi, then you can use samadhi in conjunction with vipassana to see that everything is impermanent, everything is not always under your control. Sooner or later things will change, things will turn bad, but you will not be affected by them, because you know ahead of time that this is going to happen. So you don't expect anything from them. You only expect that it's going to happen, bad things going to happen, such as your body. Once you come out of samadhi, the Buddha said, keep contemplating the nature of your body. Your body is going to get old, it's going to get sick, and it's going to die. And you cannot control it. But if you like it not to get old, get sick, and die, you will become unhappy. But if you're ready, you accept it, then you will not be disturbed. You can still remain peaceful and calm, because you are not the body, you see. The mind is not the body. The mind just happens to become connected to the body through the delusion, to the desire of the mind. So it can become connected to the body and use the body to bring it happiness. But then the body is not permanent. The body will deteriorate, will get old, get sick and die, and will not be able to support your happiness anymore. But if you don't rely on your body, you can rely on your samadhi, then you don't need the body. Once you have samadhi, you have a different kind of happiness. The kind of happiness that you don't need to use the body. So whatever happens to the body, you will not be disturbed. You will not be hurt by your inability to use the body, because you have a better kind of happiness, the happiness that you get from entering into samadhi. So you first need to have samadhi in order to use vipassana, to let go of everything that you are relying on for your happiness. Right now you rely on your body, you rely on your money, rely on your family, rely on your job, rely on everything else that you see, you use through your body. Yeah. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. You rely on this thing to make you happy, see, because you don't have the mental happiness from samadhi. But once you can develop this mental happiness, then you don't need this body. You can give everything up. You can give up your money, give up your family, like the Buddha did. Yeah. The Buddha discovered a different kind of happiness. So he said, I don't need money, I don't need family, I don't need status, I don't need anything. I can go live in the forest by myself. And then use vipassana to get rid of his attachment to everything that he is still attached to.
So Ajahn, the wisdom actually doesn't arise naturally.
No,
you
have
to contemplate
right.
when the samadhi is strong.
Right, you have to teach, but you need samadhi to be the support, because if you don't have samadhi, your mind is hungry, restless, and it will keep thinking about money, places to go, like places to come here. But if you have samadhi, you probably won't have to come here. You say, I can stay at home and be happy. See.
So Ajahn, when Ajahn say samadhi, Ajahn mean the jhanas?
Yeah, jhanas.
Then what about people who, many people cannot get into jhanas? Maybe they can just sit down, maybe the mind quiet, and that's it.
You have 4 jhanas, see? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
What you want to get to is the 4th jhana. That's when the mind becomes neutral. The mind can be by itself without having to rely on anything.
So what about people who cannot get into jhana? Can they just do mindfulness awareness?
That's what they have to do. Then eventually they will get jhana. See? Everybody can get jhana, but you just have to be patient. It's like going to school. You have to start at kindergarten before you can get up to the university level. You can just suddenly go and enroll in the university. People, when they start reading Buddhism, when they know, they all want to get into jhana right away. You can't because you haven't have the prerequisite. You need to develop mindfulness first. And before you can develop mindfulness, you need to have the time. See, you have to be alone, because that's the only way you can really develop mindfulness. Because when you're with people, you have to keep thinking. If you're working, you think. So you could hardly ever can control your thoughts. So you have to somehow develop yourself to the point where you can go and live as a monastic person, live in a monastery. Then you will have the time to develop mindfulness. Then you will have the time to have jhana. All these Ajahn that you go respect, they don't get jhana in 7 days, sometimes 7 years, 10 years before they can get jhana. So it's just something that you have to be patient. Everybody can get it, but it just takes time. For some people, takes less time, depends on their past lives. If in your past life you have been developing mindfulness a lot, then maybe for you can sit down the first time, 5 or 10 minutes, and you can enter into jhana right away. But for other people, you just have to develop more mindfulness if you still cannot get into jhana. Don't be discouraged because you cannot get it the first time, because it's not easy. You have to have devotion to your practice. You have to give up everything else. Give up watching television, giving up do all kinds of other things that you are doing, if you want to have jhana.
So Ajahn, if one doesn't attain jhana, but we can still continue to practice mindfulness in our daily life, right?
Okay, or you can keep developing wisdom right away. If you can keep thinking about the body as being 32 parts, the 32 parts of the body, keep contemplating on that, keep contemplating that it's made up from the 4 elements, that there's no self, no people in this body. It's just the 32 parts, and that it's gonna dissolve one day, returning into the 4 elements. If you can keep thinking like this all day long, your mind can go into jhana also.
We can contemplate, like what Ajahn says, but does it require the mind to be very still, or just ordinarily we can also contemplate? Just
ordinary, just like when you think about your work, you use your thought. Instead of changing you just change the subject from your work to the body. Just study the body again and again and again, all day long. Think of nothing else but just the nature of your body. Until you look at the body, every time you look at the body, instead of seeing a person, you see the skeleton of the person. Right now you don't see the skeleton, right? You see Mr. Cho, Mrs. Huang, but you don't see the skeleton of Mr. Cho or Mrs. Huang. You want to switch your perception to see just the body, not the person, not the tag that you put on the body. See, your name, your status, your family, your wealth, these are just tagged to your body. And you see those things instead of seeing the body. So you are misdirected. You delusion. You don't see the truth of the body. You see the person as a man, a woman, as a position, whatever they have, as a doctor, as a nurse, all these things. And then you attach to these things. You forget to see the real thing. The real thing is just the body. It's just the 32 parts, and that is gonna get old, get sick, and die. And when it dies, it will then dissolve into the 4 elements. If you can think like this, you can also you can skip jhana. You can become detached from your body. Then you will not be affected by whatever happens to the body. Because you will look at the body as not you. The body is just your servant, really. That's what it is. You use the body to do whatever you want to do. You command the body. Like coming here, you tell the body to come here, right? I want to come to Thailand. So you tell the body, go to Thailand. So the body, yes sir. So come to Thailand. Now you will tell it to go back to Malaysia. You take the body. You tell the body to go see things, to hear things. You use the body. See? But if you contemplate that this is temporary, one day you're not going to be able to use it. So better stop using it now. Because once you can stop using the body to do what you want to do, then when you cannot do it, you will not be hurt by it.
So Ajahn, is it possible for somebody without jhana to attain to at least the stage of Sotapanna?
Yeah, if you can let go of your body.
Oh, you mean you don't need the jhana to attain to the first stage?
If you can contemplate on the nature of the body until you're no longer attached to the body.
So at which stage is the jhana needed? Like maybe Sakadagami or Arahant, the time is really needed, is it? Or
no.
Totally not needed?
This is the way of developing jhana without using mindfulness. It's using vipassana instead. We call wisdom develop samadhi.
Still can?
Yeah, you can use vipassana to develop samadhi.
Oh, Ajahn, you mean even without jhana, a person can also attain to Arahant?
Well, when you have vipassana and you can let go of your attachment, then you can also automatically have jhana. And at the same time have vipassana together at the same time. See, there are 2 methods of developing vipassana. The first one is to rely on mindfulness and samadhi to support your vipassana. But if you have a strong mind, you can control your mind to think about vipassana all day long. Then you can use vipassana right away, which is almost impossible. Try it. See if you can do it. If you just, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, and you only think about your body, think about the 32 parts, think about the 4 elements. If you can do that, then you can become a Sotapanna, you can become an Arahant, because you are attached to the body. See, now you want to teach your mind the new truth of the body, the real truth of the body. That is gonna get old, get sick, and die. That is just the 4 elements. It's just the 32 part. It is not you. Right now you cling to the body. You have this thing in your mind that this is me, right? This is body. So I'm not gonna let go, right? Anything happens to the body, I will get very upset. But if you keep contemplating, teaching your mind that this is not you, he's just your servant. You're not the body, you're the mind. You're the one who tells the body what to do. But you don't know this, so that's why you need the teaching of the Buddha to remind you that you have to remind yourself all the time, every moment, that this body is not you. If you can have this perception all the time, then you can let go of your body.
We can practice together, Ajahn.
Yeah.
Together. Ajahn maybe has answered the question.
Ajahn, excuse me. I remember in your book you mentioned at the point of withdrawal. At the point of withdrawal, that means your mind is already in samadhi, and then after some time
you come out.
At the point of withdrawal, I want to clarify with Ajahn. At the point of withdrawal, is it at that moment when the samadhi ends and then the mind starts, thought starts coming in?
Mm-hmm.
That's the time when you start contemplating on the body. Is that right?
Right. As soon as your mind starts thinking, don't let your mind think about money or family or thing. Let it think about the body, just like the way I told you about.
So that at the point of withdrawal, that means there's the moment when the
mind starts
to change
when
from samadhi to thoughts.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wandering thoughts.
Right.
That's the moment when you start contemplating on the body. Is that?
Yeah, if you can.
Thank you.
But it's not.
Another question. May I continue?
Yeah.
Regarding the contemplation of the body, we have a contemplation on death. I remember you mentioned
that's on the body also.
In your book.
That's on the body also.
On death, contemplation on the 4 elements, and also the 32 parts of the body. May I ask this question? If there is a preference, if there is a preference on this contemplation, is there any particular aspect of contemplation that is particularly chosen by meditators, popular among the meditators?
Well, each person might be inclined to look at the body from different angles. So whichever angle you want to look from the body is okay. You want to look at it as impermanent, and you see it as getting old, getting sick, and die. If you want to look at from the anatta perspective, then you have to go to the 32 part and search for your body. Search for you. Where are you in this body? If you think this body is you, where are you? Are you on the hair? In the hair? Are you in the teeth? Or are you in the eyes? Or you'll find that all the parts, they are just part of the body. They are just organ, and there's no you in these 32 parts of the body. See, so you can destroy the perception of a self in you, or you can look at it when it dissolves into the 4 elements. See. That actually the body is just made up of the 4 elements. How do you get the 4 elements into the body? You drink the water, you breathe the air, you take the food. The food comes from the earth element, see. And when they go into your body, then they change into the 32 parts. And when they die, they return back to the 4 elements, see. So you want to see this until you see that the body is just like a factory that is manufacturing the 32 parts, by taking in the 4 elements.
So Ajahn, I can interchange, right?
Yeah, whatever aspect you want to. Yeah, but eventually you want to see all of them in all aspects. When we first started, when you first started, you find the one that you like.
Thank you.
Eventually, you have to look at the body as asupa also. That the body is not beautiful, the body is ugly. When it's not breathing, when it starts to bloat, when it starts to decay, when it starts to have all kinds of fluid coming up from the body, or when the body being eaten up by dogs and by vultures, when it decay, and when all that is left is just a skeleton. You have to see all this aspect of the body, because this is what will happen to the body eventually.
One more question, Ajahn.
Okay, let's go.
I might have heard you wrongly, Ajahn.
Okay.
I'm a bit surprised. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ajahn. Just now I heard, I was a bit surprised. I don't know, maybe something wrong with my ears. Ajahn said regarding developing samadhi, when we start meditation, one should drop off, drop the in and out breath and focus on the feelings of the air going through the nostrils at the tip of the nose.
No. You watch the breath at the point of contact.
At the point of the contact.
Which is at the nostril.
Not dropping
you have to be aware of the breath, whether you're breathing long or short, whether it's coarse or fine, or whether the breath disappears. Just be aware. Just be aware. Just don't do anything to the breath. Just watch. And then by watching this breath and not thinking about other thing will bring your mind into samadhi.
I misunderstood, as I
said. Okay, no problem. Yeah. That's why we talk, so that we can clarify.
Ajahn, based on what we have discussed, maybe it's a duplicate, but I just want to make sure that we have covered adequately, so that when we go home, we know how to practice. Ajahn. See, one of the impediments, Ajahn, that cause us not to see clearly is what we call the distorted perceptions.
Delusion, we call delusion.
And then since we are not enlightened, we will continue to have distorted perceptions and views too, right? Wrong views. So how can one practice then without these distorted perceptions?
Practice charity, dana. Well, practicing dana is only eliminate part of your distortion by looking at money as something not permanent. See, when you die, you cannot take money with you. So why keep it? Why don't you give it to charity? Because by giving to charity, you let go of your attachment to money. And you need to let go of your attachment to money before you can go meditate and practice vipassana. Like the Buddha, he had to give up his princely life, see, to become a monk. But if you still attach to money, you won't be able to go and live a monastic life. So dana is like lifting up of the anchor of a boat. Before you can let the boat go, you have to pull up the anchor. Your attachment to money will not make you able to go and develop vipassana and samadhi. See? So you need to give up money. Eventually you have to give up all. But right now you're only beginning, so you just give a portion of it now, maybe 10%.
Yes.
Then later maybe you increase to 20%, 30%. If you develop more samadhi, you feel that you don't really need the money. Then you can eventually give up all the money. Then you know that you want samadhi all the time, not money all the time. But first you have to develop in conjunction, give some dana and develop some samadhi. And if you can develop more samadhi, you'll find that it's more beneficial than money. So then you say, I can give up money so that you can have the time to meditate more. because then you don't have to go to work to make more money. You give money because this is the money you give it as because it is a surplus. You don't need this money, but the money you need to support you have to keep. This is only for giving away the surplus money, or when you want to no longer use the money, then you give it all up. But if you still have to rely on it to support your body, for instance, you still have to pay for your food, your rent, then you have to have this money. But if you have more than you need, then don't use that money to make you become attached to it.
So Ajahn, one of the perceptions, Ajahn, perceptions. There's one sutta that I read, is Duri Mandala Sutta, these 10 perceptions. So like Ajahn says, but Ajahn give a very good example. Like Dana is a very practical aspect. How do you change this perception of our attachment to this money, then to this body through Dana? But the 10 perceptions that was in a sutta, for example, Ajahn, like Ajahn talked about just now, the perception of anicca, perception about these 32 parts of the body, unattractiveness of the body, and so forth, right, Ajahn? So we can also use that also, Ajahn, to contemplate. Is it? Like, for example, they say perception of dispassion, but that's more difficult now. That one, dispassion, cessation.
Yeah.
Cessation.
Yeah, the contemplation on vipassana will be the tool to eliminate all this wrong perception, because you're looking at the truth, see. And once you see the truth, then you then can get rid of your passion. That you have passion toward other people's body because you look at them as good looking, right? You see a woman and say, oh, she look good, because you only see half of her body, see. So you have to see the other half. You have to open up her body, look inside her body. When you see her skeleton, you see her lungs, her intestine, then you no longer have that passion for that body, see. Or you think of impermanent, that if you have this woman, eventually she's going to get old, she's going to get sick, and she's going to die. If you see that, you rather not have her, because instead of being a benefit to you, she will become a burden to you. You have to look after her when she gets old, when she gets sick, or when she dies. So it's better to leave alone. Huh?
Yeah, but now still got to look after the wife.
And the woman should look the same way as the man. He's going to get old, he's going to get sick, and he's going to die, and you're going to have to look after them.
Ajahn, I want to ask you something that I've listened to Ajahn many times, so I really want to apologize first, Ajahn, ask for forgiveness first, before I ask you this question, because I listened to Ajahn talk and I read your book, but still I don't understand. So since today I'm with Ajahn, I want to ask this question again. Hopefully we can understand a bit. Ajahn, one of your talks you mentioned about the chitta is permanent and does not die. This word does not die. But see, our understanding is all phenomena is impermanent except Nibbana, Ajahn. So can Ajahn please help us to explain so that we can really understand what is that chitta?
All phenomena, but there are things that we don't call phenomena. And there are 6 things that is not phenomenon. They are the 6 elements: the earth, water, fire, air, space, and the mind. These are the elements. They are not phenomena. They don't change. They always remain the same. Water will always be water. Earth will always be earth. Fire will always be fire. Wind will always be wind. Space will always be space. The mind will always be mind. See? These things, they don't change because they are not formation. See? When you call formation, then they are impermanent. Formation comes from the 6 elements. See? Everything are formed by these 6 elements. These 6 elements are the building blocks of all the formation. See? So this body, they are built up by the formation of the water, earth, fire, and wind, and the mind, and the space. See? So you get this body. See? But with the trees and the mountain, they only have the 5 elements. They don't have the mind element. See? So all these 6 elements is not phenomena. They are not formation. They are the building blocks of all phenomena and formation. That's why the Buddha never mentioned them, see, because they are not formation. They are not phenomena. But everything else is, like this sala is a phenomena, a formation. See. All sankhara are impermanent. Sankhara means all formation, whether physical or mental. Even your mind have sankhara. All your thought is impermanent. You think and then it's already disappear. See, they all disappear. They come and go. They come and go. Rise and cease. But the one that make up this thing, they don't rise and cease. The mind that creates the mental formation doesn't disappear. See.
So this particular mind that Ajahn mentioned is not the mind that we are referring to, the feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. They are not that mind, right?
They are part of the mind. See,
they are part of the mind.
Yeah, they are the function of the mind.
They are the functions of the mind.
The mind uses this thing to communicate with each other, with you, with me. See, the mind sends the vijnana, the consciousness, to connect to the body. Then the body starts to see and hear things. See. Like you say something, I have this ear to pick up your voice. Then I have this connector that will connect me to me. I'm the invisible man. I'm not the body. I'm the mind. I'm the one who knows, who thinks. See, so you say something, your message will be conveyed to the body, to the connector. Then it reaches me, the one who knows. Then I analyze what you say, and then I reply by using sankhara. Using my thought to reply to you. See, I'm not the body. I'm just using the body as the medium. You also the same thing. You're not the body. You're using your body as the medium to communicate with me. But when you're in jhana, you stop all these functions. See? So you don't communicate with anybody or anything.
So short of using languages, Ajahn, so that mind that is permanent can be something like the knowingness. I mean, short languages. You know.
The one who knows is the mind. Yeah, the mind, the knowing element, the consciousness.
But it is not the Vinaya. Vinaya is part of it, right?
The vijnana is part of it. The 4 namakhandas are part of the mind. They are the working parts of the mind. The mind uses this thing to communicate, to connect with other mind through the body. If there's no body, they can connect directly, the mind to mind. Like the Buddha connected to the devas, the spiritual beings. He doesn't use his body. He used his nama khandas to connect to the nama khandas of the devas. The devas still have the nama khandas. They don't have the body. That's all. Like when you die, you become a deva or you become a hungry ghost. Depend on your karma. If you do bad karma, then you become a hungry ghost, or you become a hellish being, which you only have suffering and dukkha. But you can still communicate, with other beings. But you usually don't, because you don't have the time. You are so much immersed in your suffering. You don't want to communicate with anybody. Only the mind that is serene like the Buddha, who can communicate with other beings. Maybe that's why the Buddha could connect to the past Buddhas. He could tell the past Buddha what their name, so forth, so forth. He can connect to his past life. He can recollect, because everything that he was is contained in his mind. It's like a hard disk, in a computer. Everything that you do will be recorded in the hard disk. It's just a matter of whether you can access that hard disk or not. If you have samadhi, then you can access into that hard disk all the information contained in the hard disk. That's why some people can recollect past lives.
So the mind does not die, Ajahn. Then interesting, then the Buddha doesn't die and the mind of the Buddha doesn't die.
Why?
Right?
Nobody dies.
Is it nobody?
Yeah, you don't die, I don't die, but you still deluded, so you still go grab after a new body to use it as your servant, to serve your happiness, to support your happiness. But the Buddha, he knows that this is the wrong way of finding happiness, because the body is impermanent, and when you cannot use the body to bring you happiness, then you have suffering instead. So he stopped using the body. He can use the mind itself to create happiness for itself. So the Buddha is still happy 2,500 years now, and he doesn't have to have a new body like us. We keep getting a new body. After we die, we might have to go pay our debt. If we have bad karma, we might have to become animals, or we might have to go to hell, or be a hungry ghost until our karma expire, bad karma expire. Then we come back and get a new body. Or if we did good karma, when we die, we become a devas. We can go and sightseeing in heaven.
So Ajahn, like Arahant's mind, let's say an Arahant, his mind doesn't die. That means when he's an Arahant, at that moment, his mind doesn't die. But until he actually passed away into Nibbana, then it ceases.
No, not cease. The body is deceased. The body ceases. It's still the same.
Still the same.
From the time enlightenment is like that forever.
But is that accessible, Ajahn?
Huh?
Is that accessible?
Some mind has the ability to access the other mind. They could connect. Like I said, the Buddha could connect to the previous Buddha.
But when he's around, but when he's not around?
Well, he uses his Namakanda, so he doesn't need to have the body. When you connect to another spiritual body, then you need the...
Oh, I see, okay.
And they can do it. He can also connect to the mind with the physical body, because when he doesn't connect to the body, he connects directly to your mind. Like when you're in samadhi, if you read the biography of Ajahn said he had Buddha coming and to talk to him, to give him teaching. Yeah. They could connect, they could communicate directly, because they still have the Namakanda. See, like the Buddha, he can connect to his mother, who died and in heaven. See, and he could connect and teach her the Dhamma until she became a Sotapanna. See, mind to mind connection, without having to use the body. You and I have to use the body as the connector. Yeah. Any more question?
Namakanda is the one that takes the new rebirth.
The Namakanda is part of the mind. The mind is the one that has the Namakanda. And it's the mind that uses the Namakanda to connect to a new body. When your mother and father create a new body and you happen to come by, then you just send in your vinyana to connect to your eye, ear, nose, tongue and body. So just connecting. The mind is not in the body. It just connects. The mind lives in a different universe. The body lives in a physical universe, while the mind lives in a spiritual universe. And the mind uses the vinyana to connect, what we call the stream of consciousness. There are 5 streams of consciousness that connect to the body. One connects to the eyes, one connects to the ear, one connects to the tongue, to the body and to the nose, so that it can receive the sensory thing, like the sound, smell, taste and tactile objects. That's how you find happiness, by having this thing to make you happy. See, that's why you keep seeing movies, going to restaurant, going to sightseeing, because you rely on this thing to make you happy. But they are like addiction. You have to have them all the time. When you cannot have them, then instead of happiness, then you have unhappiness. So the Buddha said this is not the good way of making happiness. The good way of making happiness is to calm your mind, to stop thinking. Because when your mind becomes calm and not thinking, your mind becomes happy, has no desire. The desire is temporarily suppressed. So you have happiness. But when you come out of this samadhi, your unsuppressed desire will come back up. And if you want to eliminate it permanently, then you have to use vipassana. You have to look at the things that your desire go after are harmful to you, not good for you, because they are temporary, they are impermanent. You cannot keep them forever. So once you see it with vipassana, then you can completely eliminate your desire permanently. You need vipassana to eliminate the desire permanently, but you need mindfulness to suppress it temporarily.
So Ajahn, when you mentioned that Dhammakanda, that means the Dhammakanda is not permanent, right? It's only the mind that's permanent.
Well, the Dhammakanda changes. You think, you keep thinking, changing.
Yeah. So the Dhammakanda is not the same as the mind, right? It is part of the mind.
Yeah.
So this is not impermanent.
They are permanent in the sense that they are always with the mind, but they change. They rise. They're like the lights in a firefly. You know a firefly? You see the light flip on and off, but the firefly is always there. The mind is always there, but the Dhammakandas keep changing. See, you keep thinking a different subject, different thing. Your feeling keep changing. Good feeling, bad feeling, so forth. These are changing.
So that means when the person gains enlightenment, that means the mind remains, but all these things are gone, right?
No, they're still there. But the one who is enlightened know how to use it to benefit the mind, not to hurt the mind. Right now, you use the Dhammakanda to hurt your mind by generating desire. See. But the one who become enlightened knows that by generating desire is generating suffering. So you just stop generating the desire in a way that will make the mind suffer. But it can still use the thought for good purposes. Like we're talking Dhamma right now. We use the Dhammakanda right now. See, but this Dhammakanda is being used in a way that doesn't generate any suffering for the person who uses it.
So what happens if the Arahant pass away? Then what about this Dhammakanda?
Well, he doesn't. If he's not connecting to anybody, then he just doesn't use it. That's all.
No more.
No, it's there. You're not using it like a car. You just stop it. You don't drive it. That's all. You only drive it like a phone. If you have nobody to connect to, what do you do with the phone? You just leave it alone, right? But someday you think of your father, you want to connect to your father, you just pick up the phone and use it again. An Arahant might want to connect to his father. He might search in the spiritual universe, or wherever that his father might be, if he has the ability. But he might not. It's only very few people, like the Buddha, who has this special ability to be able to search and connect with other spiritual beings. But for most Arahant, they're just normal. They don't have this special ability. They only have the ability to get rid of their desire.
But for the Arahant, if he he already entered Nibbana, that means he would not come back and take a form already, right?
No, because the body is like a bonfire. You want to come back and...
But if he wants to, he can still do it?
He doesn't want to. You want to go back into the fire?
He's given up everything.
You see, it's dukkha. You see the body as suffering. Once you have the body, it's going to get old, get sick and die. You want to get sick, die.
No, I misunderstood, Ajahn. I thought you're saying that the Arahants, they can still connect, so they don't use the body anymore. They use the Dhamma, right?
They can connect with other spiritual or with other mind, whether that mind still has a body or not. Like Ajahn still has his body, and an Arahant can connect to him. and discuss Dhamma with him. But for people who read the scripture, they think this is wrong view, this is delusion. They think Ajahn is talking nonsense. And we have this famous person who used to be the Prime Minister of Thailand. Before that, he is considered to be one of the Buddhist scholars. He read all the Tripitaka, and in the Tripitaka it said that once an Arahant die, everything disappears, no more to say about the Arahant. But this is a misinterpretation. The Arahant is still there, it's just that he doesn't have any desire to take birth, that's all. And he still could connect with other minds. This is something you have to practice to be able to see it. By reading it, it's just like looking at a map or looking at a menu of the food. Then you imagine this kind of food gonna taste like that. But when you order, you might not get what you think it is, right? So you have to practice to really to see and understand the nature of the mind. So right now, don't worry about it so much. Worry about getting rid of your desire. That's the main problem.
I think the mind of the Arahant and the mind of the Puthujjana, the mind of the Arahant, you can use the mind without attachment, but the Puthujjana uses the mind with attachment.
Right.
Like all of us, I think that's the.
Yeah.
So our job is to reduce the attachment.
Attachment and desire. By using wisdom. See? If you see wisdom that everything that you desire for hurts you more than benefits you, then you stop desiring for things. Okay, I think we cover pretty much. So let me finish. I'll give you the Anumodana one more time. Ya tha wari waha pura paripurenti sakarang eva meva ito tinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samichato sapphe purentu sangkapa janto panara so yatha manichoti raso yatha saphitiyo vivachantu saparoko vinasatu ma te bhavatavantarayo sukhi ti khayuko bhava Abhiwatana Silitsa Nitjang Vuttha Pajayino Jataro Dhamma Vatanti Ayuvano Sukhang Phalang.